Hey, welcome back to the channel. I got Jay with me today. I'm Zach. We're your hosts for the Rally in the Ozarks YouTube channel. Today we wanted to talk to you about just some recovery gear and some things that we believe you should keep in your truck if you're going to go out wheeling. So we'll just kind of go through some of these items on our table, and hopefully you guys can find them online or whatever in store and pick them up and put them in your rig. So this first thing, what do we got here?
It's a tow strap. So I guess when you're out wheeling, maybe you're out beginning, maybe you're a veteran, whatever, but the tow strap is probably one of the most used pieces of your arsenal that you'll use when you're off-roading. So whether you're stuck in the mud, whether you're struggling to get over an obstacle, you can hook this to the front of your rig. You can hook it to the back of another rig and they can tug you over something. You can use it to pull people out of the ditch. You can pull them out of the mud. You can use this in so many ways, but this is one of the most versatile pieces of equipment that you should have in your rig with you.
I think I picked this up at like a trade show or something, and I think I paid like $70 for it. Now, I believe this one was made in America, so maybe a little bit more expensive on that front due to that. But really good. I've used it in just the few times that I've been out wheeling. I've used it a couple of times. So I definitely would suggest getting one of these in your rig.
Yep. And you can pick these up anywhere. You can pick them up online through eBay, Amazon, all of the 4x4 stores, hundreds of different places. So they're very easy to find. Nylon tow strap. Get a good heavy rated American made one, even better. But that would be what I would use.
We probably should have started here, but hey, we're doing what we can.
Good pair of leather gloves. This is probably, I don't know how many times, and especially if you're ever dealing with steel winch cables or rocks or rocky terrain or anything that you're good hand protection is this. These ones are made by Warren. They've got leather palms on them, abrasive resistance to the steel cables specifically, or just a good pair of farm store leather gloves, just something to protect your hands while you're out there doing a recovery.
Yeah, that's one thing in my experience with the steel cable on the winch that he's talking about. So it'll get a little bit frayed every once in a while. You'll have a little strand, it's just strand twisted together, and you never want to let that steel cable like run through your hand, because those things will slash through your fingers in a second.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes even a good abrasive resistant, and this one specifically has got a really abrasive resistant pad to it. These old leather gloves here, they'll work pretty good, but they won't stop that steel cable from eating your hands up.
Yeah, but never, and I would say my suggestion is to never let that steel cable run through your hand. It's not a good idea.
Nope.
So anyways, yeah, get some gloves. I need to do a better job about gloves in my kit.
Yep.
All right, along with the tow strap, this is a new one to me. Until I got into kind of off-roading a little bit, I had never heard of these. These are pretty slick, and I use this one just around my house all the time for pulling dead vehicles around. So this is a soft shackle, and it's kind of got like a little slip here. You just kind of pull that, slide this through, and then when it tightens up, it tightens that all the way down. And I have not had any problems using mine around the house. It's not come loose or anything like that. And it just kind of, it gives you something that's not going to tear up your rig, right?
Right, yeah. It's a lot more, less like impactful to your rig or others. So just like Zach was saying, you kind of, they're a little tricky to get to use, but you've got the ball end on it and the loop end, and you just loop it through whatever you're tying to. And there is a little bit of a technique. You want it to pull like this, and you don't want to try to pull it like straight on like this, so it'll pull the ball out of it. But you want to be at about, you want your ball to be vertical in the pulling direction. So this one is designed kind of that way. It's got more of a meatier spot on the shackle there to hook against and pull against. And then Same thing, kind of with the hard shackle. You can loop into that if you need to loop into it. You know, hard shackle into that if you need to, whatever your recovery is. Same thing with the strap there. You can dive into it and tie right into it. Once again, this one's pretty nice.
Kind of like a finger puzzle type deal.
The old Chinese finger trap.
Yeah.
If I remember that from being a kid, but there you go again. You can tie that right into that, and once again keep it at about 90 degrees there, and you can really tug good on them. But a soft shackle is a very important part of your arsenal to have with you in your recovery gear.
Yep. I picked this one up from Harbor Freight, not a paid sponsorship or anything like that, but it was pretty cheap. So you can probably get a better one out there. This one is rated at 9,500 pounds, and the brake strength is 47,000 pounds. So I don't know, is that good or bad?
I'd say that's average.
Yeah. So, anyways, I would pick one of these up just in case. I've seen, you know, these can kind of loop around anything, to where like if you have a chain or something, you know, you're looping around back to your chain, and then chain's pulling on stuff, kind of bends it up. So these are a lot cheaper and kind of something that you can replace a lot easier too.
Very versatile. If there's so many different instances where you get into a recovery situation where you're having to pull on the rig that's being recovered. Maybe you're pulling it sideways, maybe you're pulling it forward, maybe you're pulling it backwards, but that loop or that soft shackle will let you get tied up to about anything, and not a chain will, if you're hooking to your roll cage to try to pull your rig over to the side to get it off of the trouble that it's in, it's not going to tear up your roll cage.
Right. All right. So this is kind of along the same lines of a toe strap, but this one's a little bit wider, which is going to have less of an impact on your
tree saver. So when you're out and you're in a recovery situation where you're having to use your winch and you're wanting to use a tree,
we want to tread lightly when we're out there wheeling.
Yep.
So you don't want to just hook your winch cable around a tree and ruin the bark around the tree and whatnot. So these are used.
Yep, I use the hard shackle. You can use soft shackle too, but loop this around the trunk of the tree and then tie it together with your hard shackle there, and then you can just winch right off your shackle there. So you can hook your winch to that guy there. I don't know if I'm showing you that right. I'm sure there's a lot of y'all rigging experts out there that they're telling me that I'm not supposed to hook onto the stud there. I'm supposed to hook onto
There you go.
So that would be the correct orientation. I believe your winch cable or your winch hook would go into there, and then you would tug away.
Okay.
But the tree saver, tread lightly definitely while you're out on the trails. Protect the environment, protect your trails, keep them nice, don't tear everything up.
Yeah.
So that's the intention of the tree saver, is to, so all of this stuff we carry with us in our rigs every time we go out. We've always got tree savers, we've always got shackles, we've always got things that's going to get us out of trouble, because inevitably you're going to get broke down or stuck or something along the route.
Yeah, or someone else. Maybe not you.
Yeah, maybe not you, but
This is something that I try to keep in every one of my vehicles, period, but it's a tire plug kit. So basically you got two pieces here. One is to kind of, once you get a hole in your tire, then you use this to kind of make the hole a little bit bigger so that it'll accept this tarry kind of, I don't know, what is the exact, do you know the composition of this plug?
they're called vulcanizing strips, I think is the correct term for them, but it's some kind of like a fibrous material that's coated with a tar or a vulcanizing compound of some kind.
Yeah, and my dad, growing up, we always took like a little Bic lighter or something, kind of warm them up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, they're real sticky. But so you use this tool and you kind of get the hole punched out, What do you got in here?
A little lubrication.
Okay, to help that.
Yep.
And then this one is a little fancier. How's that one with the slide work?
Same thing. You still run your plug through it just like you would normally run it. Stick it in the hole that you've cleaned out, and then you just use that to push against it as you're pulling out. So, you know, maybe it's a little fancier, maybe it's not, but it's the same principle. And once again, if you get where you're doing a lot of off-roading, you're going to have a flat tire at some point. Not every time, rarely every time as a matter of fact, but if you're out with a group of 6, 8, 10 other rigs and you're on a good long weekend wheeling trip where you're putting some real miles down, there's probably a pretty good chance that one of you is going to get a flat tire along that. And it depends on if you're just doing back roading. If you're out back roading, probably rarely will you ever get a flat tire. But if you're getting into some of the more aggressive off-road trails, chances are pretty good that you might have a flat along the route, or at least one of you in your group will. So having one of these with you is it'll get you off the trail, that's for sure.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't have a lot of thorns around here per se, but out there in the southwestern states and stuff, see a lot of thorns. Anyways, so that's kind of what we've gathered up. Not getting into anything too crazy, you know. We're not talking winches or anything like that. Just kind of, you've got a rig and you want to go out wheeling. We think that these are the things you should carry with you. Is there anything else, Jay?
There is one other thing, and I think it's a very important piece of, and that is our first aid kit. Because once again, inevitably there's going to be an accident. They don't call them accidents because they're preventable. You're going to get a scratch, a cut. You're going to fall down. Somebody's going to. These trails aren't paved trails that we go down, so this is just a really simple kit that my wife put together. It basically covers the very basics. This isn't like, you know, we're not going to operate on you out on the trail, but it's got
some Band-Aids in there. Yep.
Lots of Band-Aids, lots of gauze pads, ointments. This one's pretty involved. This one doesn't, I mean, we could even listen to your heartbeat in here if make sure you're alive. But
yeah,
I wash.
She's in the medical world.
Yeah, she's definitely went full bore on this one. So it's important to keep yourself prepared. That's what all of this is having all of the parts and pieces to get yourself out of trouble if you get into trouble. And that's recovery gear is basically that, is just getting yourself out of trouble, whether you're stuck, whether you fell down and scraped your knee up, you cut your hand on a winch cable, you've got a flat tire, whatever that instance is just have yourself prepared. You don't want to get out there and be on the trail and get yourself into a situation where you can't get home. And you don't have to have a whole lot of stuff, and just go through and watch some of our videos, watch through some of the other people's videos that are out there, but understand what could happen to you out there and just be prepared for it.
Right on. Well, thanks for bringing that. Well, that's going to be it for this video. If you got something you want to hear about, shoot us an email or whatever. Shoot us comment down below. Like, subscribe, please. And don't forget, you can get your tickets on Eventbrite for Rally in the Ozarks. Hope to see you out there.